Is 2026 a good time to be buying or selling a home in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? In this video, we're going to be covering the house market trends through the year, how things heat up in spring, what to expect during the summer, and then when may be the best time to make that purchase or do that sale. We'll also cover what to expect with interest rates and how buyers and sellers alike can position themselves well throughout the year. Question number one, is now a good time to buy a home in Lancaster? Early 2026, those first couple of months, January and February, could be a really good opportunity to get onto the market before things go crazy during the early spring. Interest rates have softened through the end of 2025, and especially going into early 2026, we expect rates to be in the kind of low sixes, high fives, depending on the type of financing. This means that the cost of home ownership has actually reduced quite a bit over the last few months, and it may mean that those of you who had looked earlier in 2025 may now be able to afford those homes you like before the prices go up. Inventory is still relatively tight, especially as we're going into those last couple of months of 2025 and into early 2026. So the people listing their homes tend to really need to sell, which may mean if you find a motivated seller, you can actually get yourself an even better deal. Typically, we find January and February that kind of sweet spot between more homes start to hit the market, but there aren't so many buyers rushing in to make that move during the spring and summer months. Question number two, is now a good time to sell? Well, now is actually a very good time to be getting yourself prepared to sell as we go into that kind of crazy months of March, April, and May. April tends to be the hottest or the quickest market as people want to make the move in sort of end of spring, going into summer, through the summer holidays so kids can be moved and ready for school. Historically, this window is going to give you the highest purchase price. Now, this doesn't mean you can go and list a home at whatever price you want. You are still going to have to price it competitively in the market. However, if you can get more eyes on your property, that is naturally going to get you a higher offer. What I would do is if you're watching this video and it's either late 2025 or very early 2026, I would really consider reaching out to a real estate agent or reach out to myself by clicking a link in the bio below. And we can make a plan on how to get your home ready for that rush during the spring. Number three, how does the Lancaster housing market behave itself throughout the entire year? So let's break this down a little bit month by month. So in January and February, this is typically where you have the least amount of inventory. You have motivated buyers, but you also have relatively motivated sellers. The people who need to buy, want to, and need to move, and the people who are looking to sell also want to and need to move typically. March through June, these are going to be your peak buying months. So if you're looking at trying to get the best bang for your buck, and you don't need to necessarily purchase something immediately, then March through June is going to be the best time to list your home, get the most amount of people through the door, and get the highest sales price possible. July and August are typically still pretty aggressive as well. However, it is starting to cool down a little bit. Most of that rush for the summer school season is done, but you still get a decent amount of traffic and motivated buyers. September to October, we're definitely starting to mellow out a little bit. You are going to have more motivated buyers, perhaps first-time home buyers, professionals, people without kids who don't really care what time of year they move. This is generally a good time to be able to negotiate with sellers who were listed during the summer season but didn't quite get their home sold. November, December are the low inventory months. The people moving here tend to need to move. So although there aren't that many homes on the market, there aren't that many buyers in there either. So it tends to kind of lever itself out. The nice homes are still going to command a decent premium. Question number four, will 2026 be more or less competitive? Well, compared to 2021 and 2022, it is going to be slightly less competitive. Like I said, there's a little bit of a running trend going on here. If a home is very well priced, in good condition, it's pretty much always going to command a high amount of offers or a high amount of interest. Spring into early summer is going to be the most competitive season. However, what I would say is if you have your pre-approval, let's say you're approved up to $350,000, maybe look at homes in the $300,000 to $325,000 range, because that's going to give you that flex room if you need to pay above asking price. Question number five, what should sellers expect in 2026? Now, if you're a seller in 2026, what I would say is the market is definitely shifting from being on your side to more of a balanced market. This doesn't mean if your home is beautiful, you're not going to be able to command multiple offers and get the price you want. But what I will say is buyers are getting a lot of power back. In our office, we've had plenty of people getting seller help, price reductions, getting more home inspections or contingencies in order to protect the buyer. So don't think you can just throw a home on the market and it's going to sell for whatever price you want. Do make a proper strategy with your agent and make sure it's staged nicely so you can get that maximum price. Number six, what should buyers and sellers watch out for this year? Now, if you're in a competitive price range, the sort of 250 up to 400 range, unfortunately, it's likely that it's still going to be pretty competitive, especially during those spring and summer months. Now, if you're a seller and you're selling in that price range, you can't just put any home that needs a huge amount of work on the market, put it at a high price and think you're going to get your number. we're seeing a lot more concessions. Things like home inspections are unfortunately back. So if there are things that need fixing, you may have to give credits or do some repairs in order to get your home sold. If you're in that higher price point, in the sort of 500 to 700,000 or above, there are fewer buyers who can afford that. You're also going to have a good product, but you may find if interest rates drop towards the end of the year, that you do get a few more buyers who push themselves up from that 400 range into the 500 range because they can just get a little bit more home for their money. And why wouldn't they go for a nicer home if they can afford it? And a kind of side note, new construction properties, we haven't had a huge amount of new construction, and the new construction homes that do tend to be getting built are in that higher price point. Again, you're probably looking minimum is 350 to 400,000. Going all the way up to about 1 million in various developments through Lancaster. So we are relying on sellers in the area putting their homes on the market, which keeps the inventory a little bit lower and the prices a little bit higher. Number 7, what is the bottom line for real estate on the whole in 2026? Now, what I would say is that Lancaster is one of the most desirable areas in the country. It's affordable compared to major metro areas. You have great connection links to Washington, D.C., to Harrisburg, and also to New York and Philadelphia. People are moving to the area because you just get a lot more house for your money. You still are able to commute into those big metro areas. And ultimately, it's a great blend of a thriving downtown area with a range of restaurants and shops. And then you're also only 15-20-minute drives out from the rural countryside as well. I'd recommend buying in January or February or waiting until after the summer rush is finished. If you're a seller, definitely get your home prepped and ready for the spring. So on the market between sort of March and June time, and that's going to help you maximize your profits. With all my clients I've been going through this year, there has been a real range of very, very competitive houses to we've been the only one writing after 60 days on the market. So as of all of the things that I've just said, it does really depend on a house by house basis. If you are looking at buying or selling a home at Lancaster in 2026, then this video is going to help you really go through how competitive is the market and what can you do to compete.